Okay, so do I stop now?
Hello guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Comic Sans. Sorry for the delay, and thank you for being patient. We had to re-record this due to technical issues, and this episode was kind of delayed because of that, and also the holidays. But we're back, and thank you for being patient. And without further delay, here is the second episode of Comic Sans. Hello, my name is Adrian.
And I'm Satchet.
And today we have a special guest from 2AC Productions.
Hello?
So please welcome Ethan.
Aw, thanks guys. May I add that I love the name, but I hate the font.
Understandable, but did you know that Comic Sans is used for those with learning disabilities since it helps them learn better?
Wow, now you made me feel like a terrible, terrible person. Is this what you're gonna do the whole time?
Maybe.
It depends on how this goes.
You guys need to pay me more for these guest appearances. Jeez.
We don't even pay you.
Well, there's a start.
Well, anywho, since you're the special guest on the store on the show, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Ethan. I am from
Okay.
2AC Productions, a comedy-based YouTube channel. I'm friends with Satchet and Adrian for a very long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really like to party. Just kidding, I don't. I'm a nerd.
You should see him at
Good to
parties. Well, anywho, without further delay, the topic for today's episode is Kamen Rider and Super Sentai.
Or in general, Tokusatsu. So we covered, as you know, on this channel we do Toku Talks, but this is not Toku Talks, for the record. This is just a simple episode talking about our interest in Tokusatsu, how we got into it, and stuff like that. And for the record, Tokusatsu is returning later. No, nothing certain as of yet.
But later, just expect it whenever you don't expect it. So when you've
Just
given up on
be
us.
prepared to see it in your sub box or on my channel. Anywho,
Well, why Tokusatsu, I guess? Well, first of all, the three of us are into Tokusatsu. Personally, I like it because it's, I don't know, it's kind of like, in a sense, I don't want to say nostalgic, but it's like, it's fun, but I get kind of like reflective whenever I watch it for some reason.
I like it because of the screaming guys in spandex.
I love it because it reminds me of my old Power Ranger days, and it annoys the hell out of my dad.
Oh yeah, that too.
He doesn't understand a thing.
Full volume?
Full volume.
Yeah.
Especially Gokaiger.
Oh, and that's such a loud series, too.
I remember crying one day because I missed a new episode of Power Rangers Dino Thunder
Oh! The few.
10 years ago.
Holy
okay.
shit, that is the struggle.
That is the struggle.
We're in a better place.
Anyways, so why don't we start with the background on everyone's experience with Tokusatsu. Ethan, why don't we start off with you?
Aw, thanks guys.
problem.
Well, I have been a fan of Power Rangers like I mentioned before, and the best series ever, Saban's Masked Rider. I'm just saying guys, it's the best. And speaking of you guys,
But those special effects.
yes, the 80s graphics are on point. They're better than anything I've ever seen produced by Michael Bay ever.
I love
But-
Furnace.
Oh yeah, totally.
I was introduced to this series by actually you guys because you wanted me to prepare for a Toku Talks, which was scrapped after we filmed for 3 hours and I cried for 6.
Alright.
Don't worry, it'll be in the special edition bundle of Toku Talk Season 1. Now on
Better-
Instagram for
It better
$5.
It better
15
have
seconds of
some
Toku Talks.
gold
Better than
cover.
none!
Yeah.
I don't even know how to use the video for Instagram.
Nobody knows. Okay.
Anywho.
So,
Okay.
So Ethan, is that about it for your
Um,
experience with Tokusatsu?
Yeah,
Or-
pretty much. I've never actually watched Kamen Rider
Oh, okay.
ever.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll still talk to you about it anyway.
Okay.
Because we are horrible people, and we like to put you on the spotlight when you're not even prepared.
We will poke you with the stick.
Oh yeah, you did that to me at least 3 times in the last 5 minutes already.
Anyway, so as for me, I, just like the rest of these guys, I was also a big fan of Power Rangers. Mine specifically was Power Rangers Dino Thunder. I remember watching it in preschool. It was great. And after a while, after a few years, I just ended up stopped watching it because I wasn't really in favor of the show, of the things they were producing. Didn't seem to have that charm it had when I was young. But when I did get back into Power Rangers later on, I was primarily watching toy reviews, mostly of the more old ones, because they, I don't know, showed more. They seemed like antiques. I don't know.
Satchet,
They
may
just
I
seemed cool.
interrupt?
It just seemed cool, basically. And all the giant Megazords, the toys that I could never have because they're super expensive.
Wait. You never had a giant Megazord toy? Ever?
No.
I never did
Seriously?
either.
What? I had...
Those things were expensive.
What?
Like all the different,
Dude,
Zords
had-
that went
I
into
had
the
2
Megazord.
of
Those
them.
were expensive also.
2?
I had 2 of them, like Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder.
Son of
All
a
the
biscuit.
way.
Those are the ones I actually wanted. Like those 2 Megazords I've always wanted to get, but I never had money for them. Well, mind you, I was a 6-year-old boy and was too lazy to do anything besides sit on his butt, but
Dude, my YouTube career is so deep, I was able to afford it. I mean,
Oh god,
jeez.
please, guys, please. The closest thing I had to a Megazord was probably this really, really bad plastic, hollowed out, not even with a backside, Mystic Force action-sized figure Megazord.
oh my god,
It
I
was-
think I've actually got that one too. It's like
I was led to believe it was just a miniature version with just little small components. Like I didn't even care that if it couldn't break off. I at least wanted to be a whole thing with filling.
filling.
Yes, it was hollow with not even a back.
They're Megazords, not cake, Satchet.
with all that stuff aside.
Welcome to Satchet's Bakery, home of the Megazord cake. We fill
And
you
traumatic
up
childhood memories.
with power cream.
Oh god.
Looks like it's super hentai.
I got into Super Sentai while I was watching these toy reviews because the people that were explaining all the toys and whatnot, they mentioned Super Sentai, and I was curious because I was like, well, what's Super Sentai? What is this all about? And I did hear beforehand that it did come from Power Rangers was originally Japanese or something like that. I wasn't truly aware, and then I did some research and I was hooked onto it after watching some clips on YouTube. And my first Super Sentai series, or first Tokusatsu series in general, was Gokaiger, which I believe was Ethan's first Super Sentai as well.
Oh yeah, because you guys want to do a freaking anniversary special on an anniversary Sentai, and guess what?
We don't
It was
speak of
amazing.
that.
It was
We don't
amazing.
speak of the dark times. Adrian, why don't we move on to you?
Oh yeah, I do this show.
I am going to bring this up every possible chance I get.
Well, basically, my background for thing is that I was a little boy for a good 8 years of my life, and every time
8 years.
at like
Only
it's a long
8?
story. Only
Only
8,
eight?
because
Okay, I'm not gonna question it. Just keep
'Cause
going.
Mystic
Keep going.
Force.
I went all 16. I don't know what you're doing, man.
So anyway, I used to watch Power Rangers a lot as a kid. Woke up like early morning to start watching like some of the episodes on Jetix, and then as soon as Mystic
Jetix,
Force,
yes, Jetix. I'm sorry.
Only Pepperidge Farm remembers Jetix.
never forget. But
I
anyway,
remember Jetix.
Oh yeah, wait, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're
again.
fine, you're
sorry,
But
I'm sorry.
how early would you wake up? Because I would wake up at like 5 a.m. just so
5:30.
I could get
No,
on
no,
Jetix.
okay, because like Jetix, like the early ones, like at 7, like 6 o'clock, it's like Time Force and stuff, and then you get to like the old ones, like Dino Thunder at like 7 in the morning, so you have to go to the early ones. That's what I did all the time.
I woke up at 5 a.m. and then just like rushed over to my TV.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this weird like 'cause I forgot what channel was on, maybe what Jax was on at the time. Like at least the one
I
I
think it was on
watched.
ABC.
I remember watching like for like the last 10 minutes or something of this weird court show. I don't remember. or some news. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, Adrian, sorry to interrupt.
It's fine.
Keep going.
But yeah, I used to watch that a lot. But then Mystic Force came, and I stopped watching Power Rangers because I thought it sucked. Later on, Nickelodeon showed up with Power Rangers Samurai, and I was like, oh, this actually looks pretty good. So I looked up some of the things on YouTube in case I could find episodes, and then I realized I happened to find a video where it compared that to Shinkenger. I was like, ooh, what's Shinkenger? The Japanese version? And so I looked up Shinkenger and realized, oh, Super Sentai is actually a really old series. So I got curious, found the series on Super Sentai. Shinkenger was my first one, of course. And then, yeah, I got into Super Sentai. And then after looking at some of the subs having superhero time, like little excerpts, Forze was one of the things, and I'm like, oh, this one seems interesting. Checked out Forze, liked Kamen Rider 2 as well, and then bada bing.
So now that we're on the topic of Super Sentai,
well, I ended off in Kamen Rider, but yeah, Super Sentai.
Well,
that's how much Satchel listens to you, Adrian.
Ignoring Forze and all things Kamen Rider. Why don't we talk about our thoughts about Super Sentai?
Yeah, Ethan, how about you start, because you're one of the more knowledgeable ones here compared to us old geezers.
Thank you. Oh yes, you are all old. Okay. Let's see. Super Sentai, my thoughts. I love it for one fact. The main fact is that I finally get an Asian Red Ranger. I mean, for Power Rangers, forever I've been waiting for an Asian Red Ranger. What do we have now? We have 2 African Americans. Power to you all. We have numerous white people. We have a Hawaiian, so we're close. And,
we're close.
And we're close. Samurai, I thought we might have an Asian one. We did not. Only one was Asian.
Guy named Jade or whatever.
Yeah, Jaden. And they were all from Japan, but half of them were white. So it kind of screwed me over on that one. But yeah, pretty much we now have Asian Red Rangers. Every single one of them. So it fulfills my childhood fantasies.
Alright.
That's pretty cool.
So Adrian, what are your thoughts?
Oh, me. Well, first of all, I gotta say that there's with Super Sentai, I found that the teamwork idea was pretty interesting, because it's like, oh, a lot of people a lot of different people from the same culture but different backgrounds, work to fight together like this clan of this evil army. And mind you, it's like this super big, kind of like a final boss, surrounded by a whole bunch of hordes and henchmen to help them to defend them. It's like, oh, this is cool.
They're called putties, Adrian.
But yeah, and also the Super Sentai, I found it a lot more serious compared to Power Rangers. They have, it's a lot more rougher, and when it comes to not really language, but just how the tone is. And you can see them cut up and stuff. Oh, they're actually injured. It shows them wearing and tearing throughout the whole series. Yeah,
and then another thing, I realized today on Facebook, I looked comparing the Super Mega Force from Power Rangers and Gokaiger. One thing was Troy, he was tied up, but Captain Marvelous was crucified. Yeah. He was on a cross. So you get that uncensored quality writing in the Japanese Super Sentai rather than the American.
Well, it's primarily you have to realize that
America's a melting pot, so they can't be unsensitive to one culture or another. Compared to Japan, where it's most of the relation, it's mostly Japanese culture.
No, I'm not saying I'm sorry if you took it that way. I'm not trying to say we should offend specific cultures. No, but yeah, I understand that. But in American, they are obviously they don't want people to perceive it that way, so they keep it much lighter. But Super Sentai, they don't really focus worry about that too much, so they just go right into it, and you could tell immediately. Yeah, sorry.
But in Japan, since these are for kids, if you were to show this to a child here, it would be their reaction would be completely different to a Japanese child, because the Japanese, the children are exposed to much more serious, or I wouldn't say entirely serious issues, but more serious than what American children are exposed to.
Yeah.
So in a sense, the innocence is kind of scaled differently in both countries.
Yeah.
That's,
And then
that's a good point.
besides
That's
like
a good
all of
point.
that, yeah. Like I also like iconic characters. Like for example, I liked in Shinkenger Shinken Brown, Richard Brown, who was this fat American guy who they literally called him fat, and who wanted to join the Shinkenger and traveled all the way just to join them, and like he was all dressed up and he fought the monster and saved what was it? I think Shinken Blue's life or something like that.
Yeah, didn't Shinken Blue take him in as a pupil?
Yeah, he took him as a pupil, but realized that it was hard to teach him. But then, like, he gave him that confidence. And also, Kyoryu Sien, he's a Canadian actor, but lived in Japan
Sien.
most of his. No, he says Kyoryu Sien. That's how he pronounced it.
Oh, whatever.
But he's a Canadian actor, but he was raised in Japan, and he was able to go to Kyoryuger, and he's an iconic character because he's a lot different. He had to do so much, to change or to make him likable to kids. Actually, to be honest, he changed his accent. He can speak like fluent Japanese, and it's just like it's interesting because a lot of people put dedication into their character, which I find it's pretty fun and like gives you different characteristics and all. Oh, dedication, really cool. How you can last long, like besides one episode, just a whole series of doing this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Super Sentai also has a lot more emotion into it. Like, I have no problem like crying watching it, but like, I do kind of have a problem crying when I watch like, Power Rangers, for example. I don't know. It's just a different facade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different perspective on what, at least for us, what we enjoyed when we were children.
Yeah.
And from my opinion, Super Sentai, as Adrian said, I like its concepts of teamwork and how that's how the plot development around such teamwork is executed compared to Power Rangers, and their episodes more focus on the development of each of the members. And because Super Sentai, each series, like Shinkenger, Gokaiger, those type of series, they run longer, about 50 episodes. They have more time to develop each of the characters, so you can grow more fond of them or connect to them. Whereas in America, Power Rangers, each series lasts about 30 episodes ish.
25.
So
around that.
there's not a lot of time to develop the characters.
Yeah.
And instead go to cut things and add things.
You literally cut the character development by half.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Take Super Megaforce. Like in the first couple episodes, Troy's looking for Robo Knight, and he doesn't show up for the whole series, Robo Knight. But then in the final episode, which is basically the Great War in Super Sentai, Robo Knight pops out of nowhere, and it's like, good to see you, old friend.
Hello, guys!
And it's like, you didn't even develop it, but you made it such
Please, do not get me
major
started.
subplot.
I don't know. I haven't seen
not get me
Megaforce or
started.
Super Megaforce, so I can't
I
really
only watched
put
the
much
first
input
episode
into
and
this.
the end episode, and I just realized that's kind of lame, because
Okay, no. Okay,
No one
don't get
talked
me
about
started. Do not get me started on the plot holes of the frickin' Great War, okay? Because frickin' Gold Zeo and Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger are in the same, even though they are played by the same person.
yeah.
You have like Red Zeo and Green Ranger in the same one.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, to be
effective.
fair, like a lot, I don't know if it was true. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but judging from the teasers of the Great War, they just used the clips from Gokaiger.
Yeah, they used
No,
the Gokaiger
yeah.
clips, and then they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kept the main cameos for ones who volunteered. So it makes kind of sense, or it makes sense how they do it. And mind
And
you,
did
the
they
great
did they ever
powers-
explain? Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
did they ever explain the other Rangers?
They did using great powers, but I think that's the reason why we also see like multiple versions of Jason, David, Frank. Well, at least in the Power Ranger suits. So yeah.
I also hated, just saying my personal opinion is, I really hated how they just threw in Super Sentai Rangers that no one has ever seen. Like freaking what is it, like a Masked Man or and stuff like that. And they just throw them in saying they're special powers. Yeah, I love it. It's like,
But mind you, Super Megaforce did have a lot more exclusive footage, like American-made footage, compared to instead of using most of
Almost
Japan's
like
stock. which was pretty
It's almost
good.
like a it's almost like True Ranger 2
Yeah.
footage that was used for the second and third season.
And they made the focus
of Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, and they made the focus of using Gokaiger's powers only when they needed to. So, you know, even though that was like every episode, but it's like they only used it. They used a lot of original Mega Force or Ghostager footage, so that was pretty good on that.
But I mean, you may also have to consider that it's probably just for budget limitations.
Well, that too,
That is
but
ex-
it's
yeah,
still
that-
original footage compared to like how Mega Force they can just copy and paste, and they just dub over it.
So I think that's pretty much it for Kamen
Yeah.
Rider.
Or for
oh
Super
my God,
Sentai.
sorry. Super Sentai. Now we're on to Kamen Rider.
Alright.
If you
So,
thought that was
before
Kamen
we
Rider.
get started, some of you may be familiar with the Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Just as a precursor to what we're going to talk about. Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, together we can fight the fight. Don't
That's
let me do that.
right. So
I just
Ethan,
spent the whole last week recording a mixtape. Don't get me started on all of this, please.
so Ethan, since you know a lot about Kamen Rider, do inform us.
Yes, with my knowledge of watching literally 0 minutes of Kamen Rider, I think.
Well, thank you for your input.
I think, in my personal professional opinion, that Masked Rider is by far leagues ahead of any of the latest Kamen Rider that has been coming out lately.
Oh, definitely.
So better the Gaim.
I mean, Furbus. Look at Furbus. Oh my God. Fabulous.
Just saying, the
Yeah.
fact that they have that multicultural family, it's pretty realistic. I give it 5 out of 5 stars.
And the mom's like the bad guy apparently, or something like that. I think.
Wow,
I'm
way
not
to
so sure.
spoil it.
No, I didn't know.
For
That's
all the
what this
people
word.
who have not seen the glorious Masked Rider
I'm
of
sorry.
Saban Productions.
It was so like perfectly well planned out and stuff.
It's almost as good as Metal Heroes.
oh my God.
Please tell me you've heard of that.
I've heard of it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
And that's where you're wrong. You never heard of it. Let's be real.
Okay.
Comic Sans Episode 3, Metal Heroes, featuring Ethan and Ethan only. We'll give you a mic
Ethan
for half
only,
an hour.
Just having a bit of a soliloquy.
I wrote a bunch of poems.
Can you untie us
to
now?
Metal Heroes.
Coming to you soon on DVD.
It's fantastic.
So, Adrian,
Yeah.
your thoughts on Kamen Rider?
Well, Kamen Rider compared to Super Sentai, I'll keep it short and quick because there's not really too much of a difference between them besides, Megazord and Super Sentai. Kamen Rider, it's a darker one, a lot more serious compared to it because I don't know why, but they just develop it that way. I mean, you can see like Gaim and Decade, a lot more deaths
Oh
and
man,
like
Gaim and Decay, those were dark.
lot of dark, a lot more deaths and stuff like that. And also, it's a one-man team most of the time, and most of the other riders.
Well, I
they're
mean,
not-
there's also the other writers, and then there's like Gaim
Yeah.
with its multiple, like 5 team writers, but those are situational.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, there's 1 to 2 writers.
Oh, wait, just wondering, how many people died in Gaim?
Oh, we're not
Gaim?
gonna
Okay, let's
spoil
see,
it,
we have-
but it's just
Well,
say a lot.
okay.
We'll just say a lot.
Well, I would say a lot,
I'd
but let's
say
just
a
say
lot.
quite a few.
I'd say a
Because
lot.
Quite a
I
few.
just want to tell you that even Power Rangers made people die. I mean, let's be real here.
I mean, the only thing for Power
But
Rangers,
they're not direct about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
like
no,
Lost Galaxy
no,
Pink
like,
died, and on
Lost
on screen.
Galaxy Pinks died, and if you remember from Samurai, the whole previous team.
Oh yeah,
died.
they died.
So and then their kids took over. That's pretty dark. I'm just saying. For a
But
kid's
see,
show,
they don't
especially in
focus
America.
that. It's like a side information. Where compared to like Kamen Rider, they show you the straight up murder at times. It's like, oh crap, not just like a 30-minute cutscene. I mean, I do realize that there's actually dark in Power Rangers, but holy crap, there's a lot more compared with Kamen Rider. At least. with that.
Okay. I have never seen it.
Yeah,
Just
it's
for the
understood.
record. Just for the record, I have never seen it. So the whole thing about Masked Rider could or
Yeah.
could not be true.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, with Kamen Rider, it's a lot darker. It's a lot more like Lone Wolf, but I will join you if I need to, which they eventually do because they have to keep the show going. And then it's a small group taking down a whole army, but it's usually 1 to 2 people instead of 5 to 7 compared with Super Sentai, which I find pretty interesting. And then like form changes. Instead of having another character or having one person change like in a battleizer or mega mode, they have a lot more. Yeah, like they have a lot more forms, which I find interesting because or Kamen Rider have done a lot more gimmicky things. A lot more earlier compared to like Tokyuger and Gokaiger with the Ranger keys. Like they've done like decayed cards, O's metal chips, and it's different forms given a lot more.
It's for the toys, Adrian.
Variety. I know it's for toys,
It's
but
just for Bandai.
but hey, that's being creative, giving you a lot more variety.
Yeah.
And then like the development, it's still the same 50 episodes, but with a lot less characters, making it a lot easier to give a lot more people backstory. Only problem is it can get a little bit
I don't know about you guys, but it's also somewhat easier to follow.
Yeah, it depends what you're watching.
Yeah, it depends.
Especially Decade.
Yeah, Decay like what, like 38 episodes, but like
It's confusing.
I don't know. Let's just say for the sake of this, it's quote unquote controversial in the tokusatsu community.
Don't start on
Define
that.
controversial.
Like, what am I watching right now?
Oh, okay. So it's pretty much like Operation
It's not
Overdrive
like-
in the Power Ranger
We're not talking.
community.
It deals with really serious issues that are only appropriate for 18-year-olds and over. Now it's like
Oh, okay. So
it's very split opinions.
So
in the
like
community.
for a non-Kamen Rider viewer, it's pretty much like
What?
the Power Ranger community and Operation Overdrive, kind of like that kind of controversial, right?
I guess you could say that.
Operation Overdrive. I watched that. It's terrible.
Oh, the rap is the best, I must say.
Hey, no.
Just like how Kamen
Mystic
Rider
Force,
is-
Mystic Force, and its theme song with its edgy rap.
Hey, here we go.
That's
let's go.
not rap.
Let's
That
go.
Here comes
We are the
Power
Power
Rangers. Here comes the Power Rangers.
Mystic.
Here comes the Power Rangers. Mystic
Anyway.
Force, yeah.
My opinion on Kamen Rider is pretty much similar to Adrian's. There's more development on one person. It's darker and allows the one character to develop relations with his friends, kind of like in a light novel video game, something like that. Persona, if you're familiar with those type of things.
That sounds good.
Is that all on you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to take the stage. Well,
No, it's fine. I didn't
I
have
think
much to say.
I think we
anyway.
all kind of took the stage, all of us.
it's okay.
We all had our moments.
Oh,
Wait,
thanks, guys.
so since we talked about Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, I now have one more question, and we can probably end it off after this. Who has the stronger enemies, Super Sentai or Kamen Rider? For
Okay,
Super
see-
Sentai, it takes 5 people to take down one bad guy, but when it comes and a Megazord too. But when it
Yeah.
comes to Kamen Rider, it takes 2 people to kill one bad guy. I mean,
Oh wait, so Kamen
I think
Rider-
it's a matter of perspective, because you could argue that in Super Sentai it's a matter of like the numbers, and the more you have, the stronger you are, something like that, and it's the teamwork that's strong, and that's how they prevail.
Well-
But in Kamen Rider, it's more of a solo type of situation, so you have to consider like who's the stronger hero and who's the stronger enemy.
That's true.
In my opinion, Super Sentai has the stronger enemies if you consider it like that. Stronger hero, probably Kamen
Because-
Rider. But you could argue either way or both
No,
ways.
I think I agree with you, because like you cannot you can rarely finish a bad guy alone in Super Sentai, like ever.
oh, you
Because
get beat
for the
up.
fin-
You get beat
for
up.
the finishing move, you need all of your teammates, unless you're the Sixth Ranger. But even then, that stops working after like episode 20. So you have to keep that in mind. That maybe that's the reason why I think. Okay, sorry. Let me restart. Okay, Sajid. I think what we should look at is how when the Super Sentai when the villain is in its smaller version, I think it's somewhat even with the Kamen Rider, obviously because like it takes 5 lesser heroes combined to beat him, but Kamen Rider is obviously more stronger alone, but he can still beat them. But I think Sentai villains are harder because they can grow. That's the thing. They can grow. Kamen Rider doesn't have a Mega Force, do they? I mean, a Megazord, do they?
No, they do not.
Not really.
No.
They get motorcycles though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so do some Power Rangers. I mean, not some Super Sentai.
Power
teams.
Rangers get to have motorcycles. Power Rangers get to have motorcycles.
I think every
Super Sentai, they don't really.
single Power Ranger team has some sort of motorcycle. Do they? I think so.
Well, I mean, I don't know
We're
about-
getting off track. Ethan,
yeah.
you were saying?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like to answer Adrian's question, I think overall the Sentai have the harder enemy because they obviously need a mecha and all their powers.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was just thinking of that because, like, Superhero Tyson, like, I don't know if you've ever watched those movies, but, like, those, like, many groups work together, and so do the bad guys. And then when the bad guys and the other bad guys flip over, like, Super Sentai fights Kamen Rider bad guys and vice versa, it's like they're equally powerful. So it's like, oh, is there something wrong? Because, like, usually they're still with their team, or if not with a good team, a good amount. So it's like, ooh, it's interesting. So I like to get you guys' opinion on that. But I totally agree with you guys, with Super Sentai being powerful and Kamen Rider being a stronger hero, because it's one-man team most of the time. So yeah.
So on that note, I think we're overall done with this.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, let me say one more thing. Just to let you know, guys, if you ever need to get some good yakitori, you should go to Kyoryusen, knock on his door, room 432 Kumquat Square Avenue Street, and you ask for a dingleberry, and then he will give you yakitori for $5. So, yeah.
I'll make sure to do that if I ever get to go to Japan.
That sounds like a great idea, but for one thing, what the
We
hell
just
is
knock on his
yakitori?
door and say, "Hey, give me some yakitori, please, dingleberry."
What the hell is yakitori? That's my question.
It's chicken skewered. It's chicken skewers.
Oh, in that case, we should also bring Buster Red. We should bring him too while we're getting yakisori.
Yakitori.
Yakitori.
Tori.
Why do you have Go Buster Red tied to a chair? We want your yakitori. Just give us some and we'll pay you.
No, don't you? Have you seen Go Buster? Any of you guys?
I've seen a little bit.
You do?
Not really.
Okay, well, okay, I'm sorry, but like the joke is that Go Buster Red, his weakness is chicken.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry, my bad.
I found that like the weirdest weakness out of all of them. Like, oh, okay, there you go.
Just wave some chicken around
I
and
need
tantalize
sweets. I need sweets. Oh man, I can't exert myself too much.
Oh yeah,
I'm afraid of chickens.
So, I think it's pretty much it for now.
Yeah.
This is Satchet.
This is Adrian signing off.
And I guess this is Ethan signing off. And just for the point, I'm sorry for ruining your entire show.
Oh no, you're fine. Thank you
It's
for coming
fine.
on.
You
We asked
were
in short
great.
notice, too. So yeah.
You were great.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps up everything. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you around for episode 3 of Comic Sans, and subscribe to 2AC Productions. He helped out a lot with this little episode, and I'm glad he was able to show up on such a short notice, like a day. So thank you, Ethan, for that. And
Thank you for occupying my no-life situation.
aw, it's okay. No problem. Well, anyway, I guess that's it for all of us. So from here on Comic Sans, we are signing off. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye. Oh.